All right, let's dive into one of the greatest journeys in all of literature, Dante's Divine Comedy. Now, I know what you might be thinking, a 700-year-old poem, but trust me, this is so much more than that. It's an incredibly detailed map for the human soul, a guide that shows us the way from the absolute darkness of sin all the way to the blinding light of salvation. The whole epic kicks off with this one single, powerful line. Dante, who is our narrator and our main character, is completely lost. And this dark wood, it's not a real forest. It's that feeling, that deep in your gut feeling of confusion when you realize you've completely lost your way in life. I think it's a feeling we can all understand. And that right there, that's the central question of this entire thing. When you are totally and utterly lost, how do you find your way home? Dante's journey is his grand attempt to answer that question, not just for himself, but, for all of us. So where does the journey begin? Well, you might be surprised. It's not by climbing up toward the light, no. It starts by going down, way down, into total darkness. This first part, the Inferno, shows us that the descent into hell is actually the first, absolutely essential step you have to take to get to heaven. Here's the core idea. Before you can be saved, you have to get a really good look at what you need saving from. Dante has to go down there and confront, categorize, and truly understand what sin is and what it does to the soul. It's basically an education in damnation. So Dante tries to just climb a sunlit mountain, which is a symbol for living a good life. But his path is blocked. He runs into these three beasts. And they aren't just animals, they are powerful symbols for the big categories of sin that trap us: lust, pride, and greed. They're the reason he's stuck. He can't save himself. Just when it seems hopeless, help shows up. And the symbolism here is absolutely key. On one side, you have Virgil, the famous Roman poet. He represents human reason at its peak. He can analyze sin and show Dante the way out. But on the other side is Beatrice, Dante's lost love. She represents divine love, or faith, and she's the one who can lead him to God. With Virgil leading the way, Dante gets to the gates of hell, and carved over them is this terrifying inscription. It's not just a spooky warning. It tells you everything you need to know about hell. It's a place of absolute finality, total despair, where hope literally cannot exist. So, how does justice work in hell? Well, it's not just random torture. The entire system is built on this brilliant idea called contrapasso. Basically, it means the punishment fits the crime, but in a really poetic and symbolic way. The punishment is a perfect, eternal reflection of the choices a person made in life. Okay, let's look at how this actually plays out. In the second circle, you've got the lustful. In life, they let themselves get swept away by their passions, right? So now they are eternally swept around by a furious, violent storm. Makes sense. Down in the fifth circle, the wrathful, who were always boiling with anger, now just fight each other forever in a swamp. And at the very bottom of hell, the traitors are frozen solid in ice, because what's colder than treachery? It's the total absence of human warmth and love. Okay, so after surviving the absolute horror of hell, Dante and Virgil literally emerge on the other side of the planet, and right away, the tone shifts completely. We're now entering Purgatorio, which is a realm not of despair, but of hope. It's all about transformation. I mean, the contrast with hell couldn't be more stark. Hell was eternal. Purgatory is temporary. The souls in hell were defiant, angry. But here, the souls are willing to do the work. They accept their penance. Because the goal isn't punishment anymore, it's redemption. And here's the best part. Every single soul in purgatory is guaranteed to make it to heaven eventually. So what's the whole point of purgatory? Well, for Dante, every sin comes from a kind of love that's been distorted, like loving the wrong thing, such as money, or loving with the wrong intensity, like pride. Purgatory is the place where souls actively work to fix that distorted love, using their free will to aim it back toward God. Its whole structure is this methodical climb up a giant mountain. First, you have to wait in anti-purgatory. Then you start the climb through 7 terraces, and each terrace is designed to purge one of the 7 deadly sins: pride, envy, wrath, you name it. Finally, when you get to the very top, you reach the Garden of Eden, totally cleansed and ready for the final ascent. So, after being cleansed of every last trace of sin, Dante is finally ready for the last leg of his journey, Paradiso.
This is the ascent through the spheres of heaven, a truly mystical journey into divine truth, pure light, and overwhelming love.
And right at the entrance to heaven, something huge happens. Virgil, our guide and the symbol of human reason, has to leave. He's taken Dante as far as a human mind possibly can. To actually enter heaven and even begin to comprehend God, Dante needs a new guide. He needs Beatrice, who represents divine grace. And this, right here, is one of the most important arguments in the entire poem. Human reason? It's powerful. It's essential. It's enough to help us see our sins and climb out of the pit. But to truly understand the divine, to see God, reason alone isn't enough. Dante is saying we need to take a leap of faith. We need that divine grace. As Dante flies up through heaven with Beatrice, the poem just explodes into this incredible exploration of theology and philosophy. I mean, it tackles the biggest questions there are. What is ultimate truth? What is divine justice? God's presence is everywhere, symbolized by pure, blinding light. But above all, it's about the power of divine love to hold everything together. The whole journey reaches its climax in a place beyond the physical universe, a realm of pure light called the Empyrean. And there, for a fleeting moment, Dante is given a direct vision of God himself, an experience so intense, so profound that words can't even begin to describe it. In that instant, his own will becomes perfectly one with God's will. And the entire, massive, three-part poem ends with this beautiful, iconic line. Dante finally understands. The same force that guided him out of that dark wood, the very same force that moved his own soul, is the exact same force that moves the sun, the planets, and all the stars. It's love. Love is the engine of the entire universe. So after this incredible journey, from the frozen bottom of hell to the brilliant light of God, we're left with this question. What can this 700-year-old map of the soul really teach us today? Well, maybe it's that to find ourselves, we first have to confront our own darkness. Maybe it's that redemption isn't a gift, it's a process. And maybe, just maybe, it's that reason can get us pretty far, but our greatest journeys are ultimately powered by something more.